So, what's going on? I ask Virginia as we sit down at one of the dining room tables. It's really long, but we just take up one small corner. You're acting really strangely. I don't know, Virginia says with a shrug as she glances around. So, what do you think of her? Your baby? I ask. She's cute. I like her. How do you feel about her? Virginia just shrugs. I don't have a maternal instinct, she says at length. I don't know how to be a mom. I don't really want to be. Well, does your mom want to step in? I ask. I mean, that's her granddaughter. I'm sure she would want to be involved. My mom doesn't even know I had the kid, she says, then hesitates. Or maybe she does. I told Jacob. I asked if he wanted to come visit her. He did not. Are you sure you don't want this kid because it symbolizes something between you and Jacob? I ask slowly, and Virginia shifts in her seat uncomfortably. Grabby's not here, so I can say what I need to say, Virginia says at length. I know we talked about me being a surrogate for you and Grabby. I'm not ready to have another kid right now, but maybe in a few years down the line. Yeah, maybe, so my girl will have a sibling or two. But I do not want her. I want you and Grabby to adopt her. Like, officially. I didn't even name her so that you two can do that. I'm sure Grabby has, like, a family name that he wants to pass on or something. That is a huge ask, Virginia, I whisper to her. Grabby, Hieronymous, is super busy right now dealing with everything, and I was just in Italy. Melodia wants me to start working with other people who are recovering from the solemn bond, and that means I have to travel. Neither of us has time to sit down and take care of a kid. That's why the servants are here, Virginia reminds me. While you're off in the other world, you literally have hired help. And I'll stick around too. I'm great with kids. I like when they call me Auntie Virginia, but I'm Auntie Virginia, not Mommy Virginia. But once she gets older and you start to bond, you might change your mind, I offer, but Virginia just shakes her head. I would feel a lot better about this whole thing if I wasn't her mother, Virginia says. I had a month to think about this. I gave myself a month to see if I would bond with her on my own, but I haven't. So that's why you waited? I ask. I thought she might have been really sick or something. Nope, Virginia says with a shake of her head. I wanted to give this whole mom thing a try. I was nervous that if I bonded with her and then you bonded with her, I'd be afraid to give her up. But I haven't. And you looked so taken with her, and she stopped crying as soon as Hieronymous picked her up. Because she shit her pants, I remind her. Not because of anything Hieronymous did. But you heard Rita, Virginia insists. The men are better at calming infants than women are. Ironically. Ironically, I echo. So Rita is the maid that was sitting in the corner when we walked in? More like the nanny, she replies. She was a wet nurse. She helped deliver her too. Apparently she has loads of experience with child raising and that sort of thing. Hieronymus hired her about a month after you guys went back to work. He didn't even tell me that, I say with a shrug. But it just means he cares. He wants to support you through this. It's so crazy to think of Hieronymus as a nice guy when I remember what he was like when we first met him, Virginia says. I told you he was a monster, and then you ended up becoming married to him. I just shrug. Hieronymus means everything to me, I admit. I always put him first, always. That's how I know I'm not ready to be a mom yet. I don't know how to put anything before Hieronymus. You learn by doing, Virginia says with a shrug. I don't know. Aren't babies supposed to make relationships stronger? I guess. I don't want to tell Virginia about Hieronymus's nightmares or the concerns that he had about having children. That was something that was private, but Virginia is looking at me like she knows there's something I'm not telling her. What did he say when you talked about it? Virginia asks. Did he decide he doesn't want children after all? He wants children in a few years, when he has time to be a father, I explain. Right now, he's trying to make a name for himself and get rid of the shadow Aloysius cast over the Grabiner name. It's hard when the only thing most people know about him is, oh, you're Aloysius's boy. You're the one who ran off with the Wild Sea girl when you were 18 and got her killed. Then you ran away from home for over a decade because you couldn't man up and accept your birthright. Wow, Virginia says softly. Do people really say that to his face? Probably not in that way, I admit. But the way Hieronymous acts sometimes, yeah, I think they do. As evil as he was, Aloysius knew how to be charming and tick all the right boxes. A lot of people liked him. Hieronymous is working on it, but he doesn't have the charisma his father had. It takes time to build a reputation, Virginia agrees. Which is why we can't stay here and raise a child right now, I say softly. I will ask Hieronymous about it. I will talk to him about it. Tonight. I just don't want to say, oh yeah, we'll totally do it, because it's not just my decision to make. And if it was just your decision to make, Virginia asks curiously, would you do it? I just shake my head. I don't know. Don't hate me for saying this, but if Hieronymous wasn't in the picture, I probably wouldn't do it. I know absolutely nothing about babies or parenting, and I couldn't take that on myself. Well, now you know what it's like to be in my shoes, Virginia sighs. I get that I should face up to my responsibilities, but I thought that we were being careful. Leave it to Jacob to screw up a contraception spell. Things happen, I admit. Sometimes things just happen. It doesn't make it anyone's fault. There's silence for a moment, and Hieronymous suddenly appears in the doorway. Am I allowed to speak now? He asks with good humor in his voice. Or is this conversation still private? Sorry, I say quickly as I look back towards Virginia. He reached out to me with white magic, asking where we were, and I told him that we were having a serious girl talk and needed space. It's fine, Virginia says with a sigh. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a big ask, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like this. I actually have an interesting offer to propose, Hieronymous ventures, and we both turn to look at him. Most of your past year has been focused solely around giving birth to your child, and you have not had time to view this objectively. Take a week and head back to your family in the States. Talk to them. Consider your options. Virginia just shakes her head. And how am I supposed to get there? It's a baby. We can't go through the other world, and she's too young to fly. Tori and I will look after the child in your absence, Hieronymous says smoothly, and Virginia and I can't help but stare at him. We will? I ask blankly. You will? Virginia repeats in the same skeptical tone. We will, Hieronymous says as he turns to me. Consider it a trial run in our adventures into parenthood. Unless you have any objections? No, I say quickly. No, if you're down for it, then I think we should do it. Rita is here to make sure nothing goes wrong, and it's only a week. And Virginia deserves a break. If you're down for it, I'm down for it, Virginia says excitedly. I can't say I'm super excited to see my parents again, but it'll be nice to get a break. I'll start packing my things. As she rushes off, I can't help but turn back to Hieronymous. Are you sure you're ready to start raising a child? What do you even know about taking care of a baby? Hieronymous can't help but smirk at me. Absolutely nothing. But I have taught high school students for over a decade. How much of a difference can there be?